Hello, BookTube. I've got some mail for you today on an absolutely beautiful early summer day. Bright blue skies, cooling, following breezes everywhere. Just lovely. Absolutely lovely. Feels a little guilty to revel in it as I have been all day long. Considering what a large portion of the country is going through or is going to go through this weekend, although it's started already. Um, Remember a week or so ago, I said that it looked to me like the thing we had to worry about this summer in the United States was not so much record temperatures, although there will be those, but rather heat domes, which is different from a heat wave because it settles in place for a long period of time and seems immune to the air currents that usually change the weather in this country. We had a deadly one last year. And it looks like an enormous one is setting up for the western half of this country, everywhere from Texas to Los Angeles, for this weekend. And the thing about heat domes is you don't know when something's going to burst them. They are more like fortifications than heat waves. There are hundreds of millions of people, I bet, who are under threat of this thing, and it's going to be severe. It's going to last at least through the weekend, and I'm not thinking that I'm immune here in New England. We have had heat domes in the past, and we saw last year that any place can have one. If Portland can have one, if British Columbia can have one and lose lots and lots of people to just die from the weather, then any place can have one. Nevertheless, my thoughts go out. I know a lot of people who are just battening down the hatches for this weather, for this ungodly weather that's coming up and that's going to just sit there. Boston's turn will come, but not today. Today is absolute. This is the kind of weather where it's beautiful during the day and cool at night. And I have some packages of mail here, but I'm looking at them with trepidation. I admit I've had problems with mails recently. I like the spontaneity of it, right? You do too. I like the spontaneity of opening packages, going through things, as they happen. But the problem with that is that things can catch me by surprise. And the last few mail hauls that I have filmed, things have caught me by surprise. Or the penny has dropped in while I'm talking about something that I've already read. I've suddenly discovered how it outrages me or how it soils me. And that has led to those mail hauls. Either I have not uploaded them, or I have uploaded them and then taken the, for me, incredibly rare step of taking them down again. Because they're full of rants that not only could get me canceled all over again, which I have no interest in going through, but also that are tedious even to my own ears. So ordinarily, I have 3 packages here. Ordinarily, I would look at that as Christmas morning. And I would want to share the joy of that discovery with you. Now I'm looking at it like, what could go wrong here? If something goes wrong, at least I have enough self-possession now to not even bother to upload the video. Instead of what I've done a couple of times now, which is to upload it and then either not publish it or publish it and then think, there's no use that being out there. It's boring, and the mail itself is totally overshadowed by the rants. So, we'll see. We will tiptoe our way through these 3 packages and see if they're free of problems. If they were free of problems, that would be great. Oh, all right. Well, we start off just fine. Just fine. I showed this to you already. This is the advanced copy coming out in late September of Troy Seneck's book, A Man of Iron, a new biography of Grover Cleveland. That I am overwhelmingly happy to see coming out. Just fantastic. This will lead off the huge normal annual sweepstakes of presidential and serious historical biographies that start to come out when the weather turns at the end of the summer. And I am going to review this for, I believe, the Christian Science Monitor. So bring it on. I'm glad to have a finished copy. So let's see. Let's see what we have here. I was able to talk to you a little about this, but now I can actually tell you what the publisher has to say about it. This is a timely biography of Grover Cleveland. There's no timely biography of Grover Cleveland. One of America's most unorthodox presidents, the most successful Democratic politician of his era, and the only one to serve 2 non-consecutive terms so far. Yes, indeed. Grover Cleveland, now largely forgotten despite once being regarded as one of America's most important presidents, was a chief executive unlike any other. He was known for both deep commitment to principle and a career pockmarked by scandal. He was a firm believer in limited government who nevertheless stretched presidential power to new lengths. He was the premier Democratic politician of an entire generation, yet came to be the most deeply revered by Republicans. In this probing account of his life, the author delves beyond the stereotypes to uncover the real Cleveland, a stubborn, conscientious, and occasionally self-destructive figure who may have been America's most unlikely president. Okay, so who is this author? Do we know? Troy Senik is an author and former White House speechwriter whose writing has appeared in outlets such as the Wall Street Journal, Los Angeles Times, City Journal, and more. A former think tank executive, he is co-founder of Kite and Key, a digital media company focused on public policy. Oh, well, all right, whoever put that author bio together isn't paying enough attention to Chekhov's gun. You don't say that you were a former White House speechwriter without saying the administration, unless the administration is shameful. And I don't know off the top of my head. I don't recognize his name off the top of my head, so I don't know who it was. And, you know, that automatically makes me wonder, are you avoiding telling us who it was because it was someone awful? maybe one of the speeches that Troy Senik worked on has gone down in the annals of infamy. But anyway, it's entirely true. Grover Cleveland was the only president so far to occupy the White House on 2 non-consecutive occasions. So what have we got here? A fascinating look at a unique man presiding over a transformational era. A Man of Iron is a compelling and vivid biography joining the ranks of presidential classics such as David McCullough's John Adams, Ron Chernow's Grant, and Amity Shley's Coolidge. Amity Shley's book on Calvin Coolidge is fantastic. How wonderful to see it in this company. That's great. And I really like Ron Chernow's Grant, and I think that John Adams by David McCullough is his best book. Boy, oh boy. Well, okay. So Threshold Edition, Simon & Schuster is going all out to praise this. Fantastic. We'll see. I know that ordinarily, if I get a book this is the 20th of September, ordinarily if I get a book that far ahead, I say in a mail haul that I'm not really going to batten down on it yet because it's too far away. That doesn't always apply when I know that I'm commissioned to review the book, but it will at least partially comply in this case because I will want to do a lot of reading about Grover Cleveland, including reading or rereading every biography that he's ever had. I think for major biographies that aren't, you know, dumb or boys' own stories or that sort of thing, I think there have probably been no more than 5. So I will have to find them. Interlibrary loan, maybe I belong to a very old library here in Boston. They might have something that's you know, much older that a normal library would have de-accessed already. And of course, there's the Brattle, where the Brattle gods now know that I am going to be reading a lot about Grover Cleveland and his time. Now, I'm not putting any demands on them. You did not hear me say I will go looking for Grover Cleveland books in the sale lot. The sale lot is governed by chance, so I, of course, will not be looking for anything. But the Brattle will provide. There's probably a lot online too, so I will fill the summer with reading about Grover Cleveland before I actually read this book. Okay, so we're 1 down, and it was great. It wasn't just a bombshell evaded. It was something terrific, something that I'm really looking forward to. Let's go on to number 2 and hope that it's no big deal or that Steve can control himself, right? Oh, and it doesn't look good. All right, this is by Ali Rowbottom, and this is called Aesthetica. It's a novel called Aesthetica. And it comes out in November, so even later than the Calvin Coolidge book, or the Calvin Coolidge book. I've got Coolidge on the brain. And this is what it looks like. So what have we got here? This is by the author of Jello Girls, who brings significant nonfiction chops to her debut literary novel, and it shows. former influencer at Anna Ray may be fictional, but her fairy tale turned nightmare speaks as much to reality as any true story would, especially in Rowbottom's telling. Okay, all right, we're gonna press on here. I can control myself. If I spend every video on this channel telling you to control yourself, I should be able to control myself. At 19, at Anna Ray was an Instagram celebrity. Now, at 35, she works behind the cosmetic counter at the black and white store. Okay, so this is taking place in the future? A little bit in the future? It must be. You couldn't be a success at 19 on Instagram and be 35 now, right? I'm not wrong about that, right? Instagram is less than 10 years old, isn't it? Anyway, now at 35, she works behind the cosmetic counter at the black and white store, peddling anti-aging products to women seeking physical and spiritual transformation. She, too, is seeking rebirth. She's about to undergo the high-risk surgery Aesthetica, a procedure that will reverse all her past plastic surgery, returning her, she hopes, to a truer self, provided she survives. There's a lot of people online and elsewhere peddling cures to people who seeking physical and spiritual transformation. That'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the author does with this. Apparently, the author has nonfiction chops, so maybe this book will be well grounded and there'll be research. That'd be interesting. There's only one cure. There's only one thing. There's only one cure for worry about aging. And it's not surgery. It's not drugs. It's not caring. That is the cure for not aging, is not caring. If you don't care, you won't age. Anyway, but how would I know, right? Being only a beasting lip, snub-nosed, 8-pack abs 28-year-old. But on the eve of the surgery, her traumatic past resurfaces when she is asked to join the public takedown of her former manager/boyfriend, whose many reinventions she witnessed via the Instagram grid. Most recently, he has rebranded himself as a survivalist come family man, a paragon of woke masculinity in the post #MeToo world. With the hours ticking down to Aesthetica, she must confront the ugly truth about her experiences on and off the Instagram grid. Okay, but, all right, but woke ideology, #MeToo, Instagram, these things all ground this thing now. She couldn't have been a success at 19 if she's 35 now. I'm interested in seeing what the time frame of the novel is. In stunning prose, well, I'll be the judge of that, won't I? Allie Rowbottom unfurls Anna's life on the page, giving the reader access to Anna's full self. One would hope, since you're writing a novel about your main character. That's great. So there's no subscription? This is the at Anna Ray followers never bore witness to, a self that Anna seems to claim for the first time as she's recounting it in dazzling first-person narrative. The details with which Rowbottom conjures her, not only the injections, surgeries, and piecemeal commodification, but also the largely invisible emotional wreckage of her past, like her mother's sudden illness and hospitalization, are almost uncomfortably intimate. Almost uncomfortably intimate. So the author fails? This isn't nonfiction. This is a novel. They're supposed to be uncomfortably intimate. If they almost get there but don't, you are feeding your critics ammunition. Purposely so. Okay, so it's almost effective purposely so. That's great. Okay, so you're saving the purposely effective novel for your Patreon subscribers? In this way, the author turns recording the truth into its own harrowing transformative process, one that works its magic on at Anna Ray as well as the reader. I wonder if Anna Ray is going to be referred to that way throughout the book by her Instagram hashtag. That would be interesting. Propulsive, dark, and moving, this novel is a Veronica for the age of Instagram face, yet something all its own, a fresh, nuanced examination of feminism, #MeToo, and mother-daughter relationships, and an authoritative exploration of our collective addiction to followers, filters, and faux realities. Okay. All right. You don't have to care about those things. You can be online. You can be on Instagram. You can be on YouTube and not care about those things. Ali Rowbottom's greatest literary feat of many. Oh, lay off the trowel here, okay? This isn't War and Peace. Is making the act of reading Aesthetica as addictive as scrolling the grid. In both cases, the user is left wanting more, but perhaps only the reader is left richer for their experience, more fulfilled than before they began. Okay. Perhaps the reader will be richer for the experience of reading this book. Perhaps they won't be. So on the one hand, this cover copy is selling this book to the moon and back, and on the other hand, it's saying, well, it's intentionally ineffective, and it may move you. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. So, do I dare to read the author's biography? That is where I have struck the lee shore. The few times that I have tried to upload mail videos, I have read the author's bio, and that has provoked. Let's proceed gently with self-control. I am assuming that every word in this book is autobiographical. That is not a slight against the author. That is a slight against the horrible fad of autofiction. I'm assuming that nothing in here is invented, except maybe Aesthetica, the surgery, the medical experience. Okay, so we already been told that Alice Rowbottom is the author of Jello Girls, which apparently lots and lots and lots and lots of people like. She holds a PhD in literature and creative writing from the University of Houston and an MFA from the California Institute of Arts, and has taught fiction and nonfiction at the University of Houston, Cal Arts, and Catapult. And she lives in Los Angeles with her husband, the writer John Lindsay. Okay, so she has an enormous amount of experience at writing. I think I ever read Jello Girls. She has an enormous amount of experience at writing, both fiction and nonfiction, both doing it and teaching it. That's cause for hope. So this comes out at the end of November. Okay, well, here, let's get this out of the way. I am, obviously, once again, I am not going to be getting to this because it's months and months from now. But at least we got through it. At least we got through it. So now we're down to the last package. And if we can get through this one, then I can upload a video for the first time, for a mail haul, for the first time in forever. I haven't been able to do that because they've been boring even to me. All right, so this next one, okay, we're safe. It's a biography. This is from Oxford University Press. Oh, it's not very long. And as is usual with Oxford, it doesn't have a pub sheet at all. So I had no idea. This may be late. Sometimes Oxford is late getting me finished copies. This is a new biography of Cyrus the Great. This is by Matt Waters, and it's called King of the World. Okay, great. So let's see what they have to say about Cyrus the Great. The Persian Empire was the world's first hyperpower. What's a hyperpower? With territories stretching from Central Asia to northeastern Africa and from southeastern Europe to the Indus Valley. It was the dominant geopolitical force for over 2 centuries until its conquest by Alexander in the 330s BC. That's Alexander the Great to you. Okay? History bestows those things. People try to bestow them all the time, but historical usage, tradition, history, only keeps a few of them. A tiny handful of them. So you respect it if they do. Okay? Especially since you're calling Cyrus the Great. Let's see here. Much of the empire's territory was conquered by its founder, Cyrus the Great, who reigned from 559 to 530 BCE, which just happens to coincide with BC. Cyrus became a legend in his own lifetime, and his career inspired keen interest from Persia's unruly neighbors to the west, the ancient Greeks. As just one example, the idealized portrait of Cyrus by the Greek Xenophon had a profound impact on ancient, medieval, and early modern debates about rulership. This book provides an authoritative and accessible account of Cyrus the Great's life, career, and legacy. While Greek sources remain central to any narrative about Cyrus, a wealth of primary evidence is available from ancient Near Eastern sources, including documentary, archaeological, art history, and biblical material. Oh, I'm interested already. The author draws from all of these sources while consistently contextualizing them in order to provide a cohesive understanding of Cyrus the Great and his world. This overview addresses issues of interpretation and reconciles limited materials while the narratives keep Cyrus the Great's compelling career at the forefront. Okay. All right, fantastic. The author is a professor of classics and ancient history at the University of Wisconsin at Eau Claire. And has written a few other books on on the ancient world. So we have a short biography of Cyrus the Great. Couldn't really be much longer. This is far more than what we have. I always smile a little when a book like this says that it's authoritative, because we don't have the sources that we would want to make this authoritative, vast annals that are gone, completely gone. We know they existed, but they're completely gone. Things that noted literally every single thing that Cyrus did during the day, every movement that he made, everything, every word that came out of his mouth. Vast, vast archives that are gone. But this will be interesting anyway. I wonder if it's out already. I wonder if it's published already. But the main thing is we got through it. We got through the mail. I can upload this. We have a biography of Cyrus the Great. We have a biography of Grover Cleveland. And we have a novel about an Instagram celebrity examining her life on the eve of surgery that could either totally revive it or end it. That's pretty interesting. We shall see. We shall see what this is like down the line. I won't be getting to it right away, and I won't be getting to the Grover Cleveland right away either. I'm eager to, but I want. This is my want with a thing like this. I want my review to be knowing. I want it to be knowledgeable. And also for fun. It's also fun that I will just find every single thing that isn't bolted down about Grover Cleveland. I wonder if I can even get down into the nitty-gritty of primary documents. I wonder if I can even do that. I wonder somewhere out there is a full, complete collected correspondence, for instance, that's just sitting in some university archive, and could I get access to it? I have a lot of time, so I can dig really deep into this U.S. president, this man of iron. Anyway, phew, mail haul successful. I won't hope for it tomorrow. We will proceed very carefully. Until then, I will wrap this up for now, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.